Hey y'all, happy Saturday. Welcome to another What Else is Going On, aka We Go Podcast YouTube video. I'm your girl, your host, Taria. I hope that y'all had a good week and are able to just relax. In the words of the esteemed Whitley Gilbert, relax, relate, and release. I'm gonna get ready to go to a play in Philly in a little bit. So I wanted to come to y'all because y'all know I miss y'all. Now, what I'm getting ready to talk to y'all about, I've been wanting to talk to y'all about since this week. But and then I even did another video. We've done some other videos this week, but I hadn't included this because I wanted to do this separately by itself. So, y'all, two peaches are fighting. You know how they say the girls are fighting? Y'all, the peaches are fighting. Two peach holders are fighting. What peach holders, may I ask? Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, y'all. So I'm back. I just had to pause real quick. Y'all, what peaches are fighting, you may ask? Drew Sidora and Ralph Pittman. Yes, two of Atlanta's most talked about peach holders are battling. Okay. They are fighting. And I'll just say this maybe Drew's not fighting, but Ralph seems to be fighting. Ralph seems to want to be a part of the cast for next season. Now, look, people may say he has a right to clear his name, he has a right to tell his side of the story. You might be right. I don't want to hear it. And I know that's because I feel like after all the, I believe the stuff that she says he's done to her. So all bets are off. Now, we know it's not tit for tat, but sometimes it is tit for tat. And I'm sick of him. I told y'all why he's really mad at Drew. He's really mad at Drew because somebody in his life did not take the time to shape his head in the correct position. He's supposed to run. In black households, I don't know if they do it in white households or not, but in black households, you're supposed to shape the baby's head so it's not flat and it's not misshapen. And he mad. And that's why he's taking his anger out on Drew. Anyway, I want to get into so what we're going to do is talk about an interview that Drew did. We're going to pull a clip from one interview that Drew did with the Breakfast Club, just a real quick one, and then a clip, some different clips from when she was interviewing with Angela Yee. Then we're going to go into. I think that's what sent Ralph on this. I don't know if you want to call it spiral or what have you, but that's what is sending him down this path. And again, maybe he says he wants to clear his name. So first up, I want to get into something that Drew wants. Drew talks about the last straw in her marriage. Now, this clip I'm not going to show you because child Breakfast Club be having their stuff on lock. So first, let's talk about something that Drew said on the Breakfast Club. Why her marriage? Well, what was the last straw in her marriage? So let's get into it.
That was the last straw. That was it for you.
I mean, it was that, and it was just the continuous behavior of like dealing with other women, and then coming on the show, and then there was women saying, "Oh, they were pregnant." There was a particular woman who reached out and said she was pregnant with his baby,
Child.
and that was a big thing. That was probably one of the biggest straws. And then it was the disrespect of my mom, of my family, the disrespect of my son Jojo, 14-year-old. So it was just very layered. And finally, he moved out of the bedroom. So we separated, and we were separated at the time. So it was a huge separation. We were trying to repair things, but ultimately it just wasn't able to be repaired.
And I thought you cheated at one time.
Well, that's what he says. It was almost like, oh, she's hanging out and having fun. Oh, this is my moment, and now it flipped to like a victim mentality when that really wasn't what it was.
That was the last straw. That was it for you.
A woman claimed to be pregnant. So what that tells me is not only are you, this is what Drew was saying, not only are you cheating, you out there raw dogging people and then think you're gonna come back and have sex with me? A woman is calling me, claiming to be pregnant by you. That would have definitely had to, we like to say what we would do in those situations. With Drew working, being able to provide for her family, it would seem as if that would definitely be the last straw for somebody in that situation. But look, you don't know. Some people would have said, look at Deshawn Snow. She sat down with Nene and said, even after, for those of y'all that don't know, Deshawn Snow was on season 1 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, was married to NBA player Eric Snow. No. Was it Eric, y'all? You, I'm not getting him confused with Jennifer Williams' ex-husband, right? But anyway, Deshaun was married to a famous NBA player. I believe it was Eric. Y'all let me know if that's right or wrong. But she said after she found out that he had a baby, she was still willing to work it out and go to counseling, and he pulled the plug. So, but for me, I don't know, just a baby, you are literally out there not taking our health seriously. And especially it being multiple women, not even saying that it's okay that it's one woman you're sleeping with outside of your marriage, because it's not. But you out there with multiple women. So are you out there doing it to multiple women with no protection? Like, that's a whole nother layer that you need to think about. You don't even have me or my kids or our kids' consideration in mind. Because if you get sick and then I get sick, then we got kids here. So yeah, that would have been, I think we might have had to fight. But anyway, so she claims that a woman called being pregnant by him. So that was on the Breakfast Club. Now let's get into some of the things she talked about with Angela Yee. So the first clip, because I put timestamps on them and I pulled different ones. The first clip I want to talk about, remember we saw what was it, Mother's Day, or what holiday was it, where he was cooking in the kitchen and Drew was in the kitchen and he fed her that piece of steak and there was somebody recording? Well, she talks about that. So let's go ahead and get into that. All right, let's talk about that clip. Hold on, y'all. I'm pulling it up. Let's get into it.
Right. And that moment that you guys saw on social media was a moment of, hey, I made some steaks for the kids. Can I come upstairs and, give it to them? Cool.
That sounds so fun. Can you come upstairs?
Can you come upstairs? I granted access. And
That's the boundaries you speak on.
that's my boundaries. It's a holiday. And actually,
Access.
his aunt was there. His aunt was the one recording.
Okay.
So his aunt
okay.
respectfully called me and was like, she didn't like what he tweeted about my mom and my dad who passed away.
Right.
So she was like, can I come? And I need to.
Now, let's remember what he tweeted about her mom. Like, basically, when her and her mom, a few episodes back, were talking about everything with the marriage and everything, he tweeted, basically, you blew your husband's insurance money and I took care of you. But now I'm a problem. I'm just paraphrasing. So that's what she's talking about. So his aunt called. She didn't like what he tweeted about her mom. Y'all stay trying to hit the wrong
Talk to
button.
him. I miss the kids, and I just feel like this has gone too far. So I was like, you know what? She's like, I know it's your weekend. Can I come? She lives in South Carolina. She's like, can I drive up there and just see you guys? I was like, yeah. So she comes. So she's recording, and she's like, say hi to Helen, which is his grandmother. So I'm like, hey.
Let's remember, again, it was Drew's weekend, which is why Ralph said, can I come upstairs? I made some steaks for the kids. She said yes. His aunt calls, I know it's your weekend, but can I come up and see the kids?
Helen thinking we're on FaceTime. She's recording.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Ouch.
How did you
Everybody-
feel about that? That's a little intrusive.
That's a little.
So
It's a lot.
I
And
you're
was
home.
right. I'm home in my most vulnerable space. Obviously, I was looking a mess.
And you know
'cause
it's
I'm at
going to
the
go
crib.
viral.
I didn't. Right. It
No, I'm
went
saying
viral.
once you find out that it's
Right.
recording, like,
It
yeah.
went viral, and
So
it was
at this moment, you didn't even know that was happening. You just thought that you were saying hello to a family
On
member
FaceTime.
on FaceTime.
Right.
So now she's being a little intrusive, which
I love her. So I don't want to say that
Right.
she intended or set me up anyway, but I assumed she was FaceTiming. She had her phone out, and I'm like, hey, Helen. And he's like, call me daddy or whatever. And I'm like, no, you're Mr. Pippin.
No, he did not.
You're Ralph. You can see it. I'm like, no, you're Ralph, And then I'm cooking, so I got stuff on my hand. He's like, oh, you want to taste the steak? I'm a foodie. Yes, I want to taste the steak. And I tasted the steak. That was it. That was all. The steak was good.
Okay.
But
that's
let's
the only
not-
meat you tasted.
That's the only meat.
Okay, this had to be clear.
Period. That's the only meat that I was tasting. And it was tasty, but it was just the steak. The T-bone. Thank you with the good.
You know what? But on the flip side, right? You have an album out.
All right. So in that instance, she's talking about, again, the video and explaining what we saw. It wasn't what people said it was. Oh, are they faking for the cameras? Or are they this is what she's saying, at least. She's saying that it was just an innocent moment. Thought she was FaceTiming auntie. Thought Ralph's aunt was FaceTiming another auntie. And she had food on her hands. She was cooking. That's why she tasted the steak. And the steak was good. I said, well, all right, Drew, you better explain. The next clip I want to talk about, she talks about dating other people. So let's get into that clip.
And if you both agree that you're over a situation to date and just do your thing, if you agree that, listen, we're finished, we are going to do this divorce, we are going to be doing this.
But we can move on.
Yeah, can we,
Yeah.
like...
You know, it's interesting. It's like very layered because we have had that conversation where it's like we didn't work as this per se. So we're gonna work on that, but like knowing that it just didn't work out. We think differently. It ran its course. We loved each other during that time, and you kind of suck it up to that. But then there are times where you're like, before we joined Housewives, like the things that people didn't get a chance to see is all of the struggles that we dealt with in our marriage prior to, like when we were living in Chicago.
Okay.
Living in Chicago, going through it, women involved, you know, inappropriate behavior, and the things that as a woman, as a wife who was loyal in this marriage, I had to deal with. And I think just a lot of things get convoluted being on this platform, and a lot of things get thrown out there that are just not true. It makes it hard to even create a co-parenting, cohesive relationship. So now on top,
I thought this is interesting because, you know, she's talking about what they went through before when they were in Chicago. Also, Drew, they asked her about you dating other people. Did y'all have that conversation? We didn't went all the way around. But, you know, sometimes you got to go around the river bush to get back to the answer, I guess.
top of that, you got the pettiness you got to deal with. All of these people getting thrown in. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm still a human being. I still am going through a really, like, this is the biggest storm of my life.
Yeah.
My parents were married for 60 years until my dad passed away. So I didn't never think I would marry to divorce. When I got married to my husband, I was like, this is it. This is forever. Like, this is my person. So to now be here, it's unbelievable at times. So then when people throw these things, I'm like, wait a minute though. Like, especially when you're going through the same thing, it's like, wait a minute, you know how hard emotionally,
She's talking about
mentally
Porsha.
this is. I can go on dates, which I've owned. I'll stand on that. It's great.
Okay.
Like
That was the question.
I'm sitting here like,
are you
hold
seeing
on.
what's up?
I'm seeing what's
Outside.
up.
You're not dry.
And I'm attracted to people that I see, and I'm like, oh, you're a looker, okay. But to go like to this is exclusive or anything like that,
You got to take your time.
you gotta take your
To a
time.
point of you saying that, you know, as far as you not being outside or whatever the case may be, dating.
I'll be outside now.
Yeah. Well, listen,
I mean,
good girl,
outside a
bad
little bit.
bitch. I mean,
So finally, she said she dates, what she said before, she's dating, but there's nothing exclusive because we're going to get into later. Ralph is saying the affair that ruined their marriage, meaning she was dating Ty Young. Ciao. All right, that's what he's trying to say. Next, she talks about the Porsha and Dennis of it all. And I remember saying, episode 1 of this season, when Porsha was like, you are a low down, dirty individual. And she talks about, they first make it about, remember, because it switched up. It's first said that Porsha was upset because she was working with Dennis. That's what she said at first, right? And Drew says, but I talked to you. And and Porsha skipped right over that. Drew, Lord, I don't know if y'all heard that or not. Child, there's so much. We got people in the house. I flew my oldest in, side note, for a surprise from my husband for Father's Day, which was great. Then our goddaughter is here, and then my 2 are here. So we got people. So if you hear anything, child, just act like you didn't. But anyway, so yeah, Drew said, I talked to you, and Porsha brushed right over that. And then later it became about filming. But let's get into what she has to say about the Porsha and Dennis of it all.
Was calling Porsha, texting her, calling her, texting her, calling her. And at that time, she was like living her African princess life.
She should have been thanking you for keeping her dream alive.
I was just, you know, I was.
The Lady of Twirls was getting a story because of who? All right,
Thank you.
well, but no, I do look at it.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to work with him secretly. I reached out to her multiple times. She was in Dubai and Nigeria, and she wasn't really checking for her girls at that time. And we weren't tripping because we're like, we're happy, girl, go get your love. But don't come back now that didn't work out per se. And now you have an issue because you're focused on what baby daddy is doing, you know? And that was the thing, is that Dennis was always transparent. Once, everything was happening with her, I reached out to her when I heard about her divorce. It was like I just felt like I checked every box. And of course, we can always do things better. But I was like, girl, get with your girl. Call me. Like, let's hang out. I have those receipts.
Okay.
It's always good to have receipts because
I got
people
'em.
want to see proof now.
So she said she got receipts of her reaching out to Porsha and saying, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. And Porsha not talking. And Porsha has admitted that. Okay, let's go.
I got the proof.
Well, that's what
And
it
at the
is,
end of the day, Dennis told her what was going on. She said she was coming to my birthday party, but she
did.
just couldn't make it. So why would you be coming to my birthday party if Dennis invited you? Like, you had to know that we were obviously.
Remember that scene? And I keep stopping because since we're playing other people's content for fair use, we need to stop and have commentary. She was going to come to the party. Remember, she said Dennis called her. Porsha said it, invited her to the party. She saw the picture of Drew and Drew looked washed. So then she called Drew to check on her. So again, she knew they were working together. And I'm saying that because people will say, well, no, it wasn't about them working together. It was about them filming together. But in the beginning, initially, when Shamia brought it up, they made it about them working together. Oh my God, this is annoying. This little thing. I wish I could.
doing work together at that time.
Well, y'all did have a sit down. It didn't end well because she broke out. But do you see a way? Do you see a way forward? Do you, like, if she was to be like, you know what, like, I'm tripping?
Yeah. And she kind of said that, she said, like, okay, maybe I was tripping and all this, but I just feel like an apology and really just us to get over it is going to take work from her. Because I've, like, done hey, let's sit down. Can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? No. Okay. And then we finally had the conversation and I was met with all this shade. And like you said, like, these people she's throwing at me. And I'm like, first of all,
You threw it back.
I threw it back and it got bleep, but I still, like, we know what's up. And, I just reciprocate basically, the energy.
These guys is getting just thrown in the mix too.
Catching
We don't know what they
strays.
got going on.
Listen, catching strays for no reason. They like, wait.
Asadi, I want to ask you, this Brit event that she had. Now, I do want to hear what you thought about her launch party on the golf course, because
Okay, so what she says is that basically she gave us the outfit. I wore it. I wore the thing in my video. I did my job and supported. All right, so then the last clip, I thought she talks about Ralph having women in the basement. And look, if they agreed to date other people, that's cool. But wait till you hear, hold on.
But they're in my basement. So I'm just like,
wait, hold on. There's been women in the basement?
oh, it's been women in the basement. I have the manifesto. We live in a gated community. So all I have to do is call the gate and I get the names.
I know.
And I saw, actually,
Here's the thing.
Hold on.
Ooh, what does cheating
Women
look
in the
like to you?
basement? First of
I
all,
actually went to my daughter's. I've never talked about this
Listen to this,
publicly, but I
y'all.
went to my daughter's. They had like a school lunch with the parents, and so I went with my daughter to surprise her for lunch. And it was this girl like me mugging me. Her daughter was in my daughter's class.
parent?
She was me mugging me.
She was a parent.
A parent, intentional. It was like, if you see somebody, you're just eating like the little turkey and
Not
the
a
cold cuts they
parent.
have, and she's like. What? And I was like, okay, you're right. And she was like, aren't you? Da 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 da. Da. And I'm like, well, you know who
Everybody,
I am.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Ma'am,
clearly,
you know
like
who I
you see
am,
my
yeah.
daughter and da da. And I was
seen
like,
the
what's your
show.
name? And so she said her name. And I was like, oh,
Hi, nice to meet you.
hi, you've been in my house. She was
Because your name
like,
is on the thing.
in the basement working out with Ralph. I was like, yeah. Oh,
Getting
well,
worked out.
Yeah.
Seems-
Yes, on my treadmill. Oh, okay. Don't do that again.
Not on my treadmill.
Don't do that again. It's my treadmill.
Did you let him borrow my shorts?
That's crazy. I
It was
think that's so
crazy.
disrespectful.
Like, I can't even go to my neighborhood school without getting approached and
That's where the
disrespected.
problem comes in. And I was telling Angela.
Now that to me was crazy. You up to the school, dating parents or bringing, even if it's, is he a trainer now? And even if you are, that is something that you need to let me know, because don't have me out here looking crazy. I mean, he already does a little bit when Drew was singing to him at the reunion last year. Oh, child, my butt cheeks still clench. But you out here with the parents, got the women, got them looking at me crazy, talking about I've been to your house. All right. I don't believe that Ralph liked all of this chatter. So let's get into Ralph. He picked up his peach and said, "Oh, I got something for you, hoes." Okay, so first, let's talk about how she talks about, he mentions the guy Black. I'm not gonna say it. Oh, don't say it. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say a read that she should have said to Porsha back when Porsha brought up Black, but I'm gonna leave it alone. So Ralph tweeted, Drew is dealing with Black sexually and trying to get back with me. Most of the things you saw on TV was fabricated. I played the bad guy for Drew to keep her peach, and now she's taking it too far. Tampa didn't happen the way y'all thought. She had my location on her phone. So this was the text. All we see is super easy. The person must have said, "Are you cuffing me, Miss Sidora?" She says, "Consider yourself cuffed, baby," with the kiss. I guess he had said, "Don't be selfish. Yeah, I know what's up." And then she responded, "Okay, Mr. Black, landing at 10:15 Pacific Standard Time, but probably do have an early day. I'll know when I land, though. I guess let you know when I land." He said, "Dang, do I need to arrange anything? Danny has your rental car reserved? Question mark. Which company? Question mark. I just feel like I need to be your manager. No fee." Does that mean they're sexually involved, though? I mean, as adults, you feel like, oh, if they're dating, they're probably sexually involved. But does this really mean that they were sexually involved? She just says she cuffing him. I still don't care. But anyway, moving on. He continues. Oh, by the way, Drew responded to that, I believe, and said, "Oh, he also posted this. Spoiler alert. He loves a blazer with no shirt and a necklace. Spoiler alert. Tampa was fabricated so Drew could keep her peach. I played the bad guy so she would have a storyline and make a comeback as an actress. It worked, but it was unexpected that she would cheat on me and lie, saying I cheated on her." This is courtesy of the neighborhood talk. Drew said, "He really trying to earn his peach today, huh? My producer at Mark Burns Official wouldn't fabricate or follow fake storyline. He was the person who found out Ralph was in Tampa and told me." And then it says, "Because we were supposed to get C19 tested." This is by way of reality blurb. Who got it from? Because we tighten everybody. The neighborhood talk. Look at this. Would you look at this? Would you look at this? So he said Tampa was fabricated. She knew my location. Drew was saying the producer would not have fabricated the storyline. There is a small part of me that's like, who's telling the truth? So you did go to Tampa. You're not denying that. But are you saying Drew knew the entire time and y'all purposely made it a plot point? He says, "It's crazy how I'm called a serial cheater with no receipts when the affair that ended our marriage is denied, like explicit details haven't been out there for years. Keep crying for the cameras and telling your fake truth, but don't confuse acting with innocence." So we're going to get into the text. So this is Ty, between Drew and Ty. So Drew says, "That's me, baby. Oh, thank you." She says, "I love you and miss you so much. I can't wait to have you plus 3." Drew says, "OMG, at first I was like, wait, plus 3, but oh, I get it. And baby, I love it so much. I can't wait either. Are you ready?" Question marks. Ty says, "I'm nervous. LOL at plus 4. I'm watching your show. My brother said I did say I want a family." When I read that, I was like, oh, the U plus 3 is talking about her kids. Drew says, "Be careful what you ask for. Oh, Lord, what episode are you on?" Ty says, LOL, episode 7. Somebody in the comments said, "Okay, but what's the plus 3?" And Ralph says, "The kids." Somebody said, "What do you want from her? It's over, move on." Somebody else said, "To embarrass her, that's all." Then he shows this. "Baby, I was knocked out." This is Drew to Ty. "I just woke up thinking about you. I miss you so much. Thank you for my flowers. Crazy, LOL. Let's talk about the screenshot because, yeah, that's strange." Ty texts back, "Okay, I can't sleep. I've been sleeping off and on," and then sends her Freedom on the Beat, I guess her singing. And then he posts this. I guess Ty was driving. Drew was in the car asleep. Either sleep or just relaxing. That's how I'll be on the passenger side of my best friend. Well, not my best friend, but my hubby's ride. She did say she flirted with Ty. These texts could be flirting. Moving on. I mean, I do think it's a little bit more than flirting, but either way, let's move on. He then posts these. I said, wait, there was a comment that I wanted y'all to read. I mean, that I wanted to read to y'all before we get into that one. Did I miss it? Because there was somebody in the comments saying something. Oh, on where he posted the text between her and Black about being cuffed, somebody says, she said they were flirting. So once again, what does this prove? He said, I'm not going to post explicits. Were you posting all this? So now let's get into the pictures that he posted. This is Drew and Ty. She could have been telling her secret. I'm just saying. Like, don't look now. Somebody's looking. Now, look, I am going to say that, and somebody said, you're going to talk about Tampa. Okay, and how's your cousin doing? Looks like Drew got her lick back, figuratively and literally. Child, not figuratively. You just mad because her athlete played and you just redshirted at Rutgers with no playing time. Oh, somebody said, Ralph, you were an awful husband. Somebody else said, Happy Pride at Drew Sidora. Meet me at Punch tonight. Karma. Shout out to Carmine. Carmine is funny. And TV Deet says, slow down, Ralph. So I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it does look like it could have been just a wee bit more right than the flirting. Could something happen? At the end of the day, I still feel like it was in response to what Drauf was doing. Drauf, was that their couple name? I will say this. Ralph is right in the fact that, yes, we don't have any proof. We do have Drew saying women were calling, but she's not showing anything. And she has the manifesto, but she hasn't, of who was coming in and out of their gated community, which is how she knew when the girl said her name at her daughter's school that she was one of them. And how she knew other women had been in the basement because they have the manifesto. I think Ralph is just smart enough not to take pictures or do anything that can be traced back to him, but the women are still reaching out. I'm going to say this. I'm still team Drew because I still feel like Ralph still gaslights and does different things. And is trying to play like this affair broke up my marriage. When I feel like because Drew said at one time they were separated, but working things out. So I would seeing if they were going to work things out. So I would like to know during the time they were separated, was it talked about we can see other people while we're still trying to work things out? Because that is not going to help you reconcile if that's what you're trying to do, right? I don't know. But what's the timeline with Drew and Ralph? Wasn't it when they were separated? Not Drew and Ralph, with Ty and Ralph. Ty, Lord, with Ty and Drew, what is the timeline? Drew's talked about Black and said that she likes him. They go out on group dates. It's not exclusive, but they go out on group dates. Now, that text message she did say he was cuffed. I don't know. So I guess we'll see how all this plays out. And if Drew gets to talk about it on season 17 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And will Ralph have his own confessionals with his bare chest of blazer and a necklace? Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this. These housewives is fighting. You hear me? Child of Peaches is out in the orchard. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all Saturday, and I'll talk to y'all later. See ya. What do I always say? Drink some water, and y'all eat at least a piece of a fruit.